Sedalia police are investigating 2 shootings over the weekend.
KRCG 13's Gracie Matisse joins us in the studio with details on these 2 incidents.
Good morning. That's right. The first shooting happened at 6:30 a.m. on Saturday. Police got a call about a man lying in the middle of East 17th Street. When officers got there, they found Robert Fox Jr. dead from an apparent gunshot wound. The department says it's operating as if there is a threat to public safety because they still do not have a person of interest. The second shooting, which police say is unrelated, happened in the same neighborhood 15 hours later. Officers were called to East 13th Street. Police say there was a fight and Michael Ray Carpenter shot a person once in the chest. The victim was airlifted to University Hospital and is in stable condition, according to police. Carpenter is being held in the Pettis County Jail.
The popular Columbia nightclub Vibes turned into a crime scene in the early morning hours of February 2nd when nightclub security guard 34-year-old Tershawn Kitchen and a 30-year-old woman were shot outside. Both were taken to the hospital where Kitchen was pronounced dead. A blog post made to the nightclub's website on February 6th alleged responding officers didn't work urgently enough, saying, quote, "Unfortunately, we watched our family member take his last breath under the indifference of CPD's apathetic gaze." Quote, "In today's community briefing video, CPD seemingly says their footage from the night, officer testimony, and evidence paints a different picture." Take a listen.
As the crowd is running from the area, multiple CPD officers are observed on video running toward the sound of the gunshots. Officers reported only hearing, not seeing the shots being fired. At 2:35:13, officers encounter the first victim, later identified as Tershawn Kitchen, in the doorway to the business. Based on body camera footage, officers moved Mr. Kitchen out of the doorway and immediately began to assess his condition and render aid. The video also reflects acts of compassion and empathy by CPD officers while trying to help the victim.
Following arguments in court this morning, Cole County Judge Dan Green now must decide whether the state has overstepped its authority by restricting the ability of local governments to establish environmental codes. From the moment Governor Mike Parsons signed the bill at the end of May, you almost knew it was headed to court.
I think the state needs to be the one that sets the standards for that.
Lawmakers last year set new permitting standards for things like manure management and buffer zones, then said local governments could not impose controls on air and water quality more restrictive than those set by state regulators. Many farmers supported that.
We feel like this regulation is burdensome and could limit expansion of agriculture in Montauk County.
But some, those who fear extinction at the hands of corporate farms,
we're wanting to show that there is organized resistance to this hog confinement that's coming in.
Joined with people living near CAFOs, concentrated animal feeding operations often run by large corporations, in demanding local control over potential polluters. The Montauk County Health Board first adopted, then put a hold on its environmental ordinance pending resolution by the court.
Mr. Jeffrey, you're the plaintiff. If you could give us a brief synopsis of your case.
Attorneys representing several county commissions and public health boards argue the 2019 law violates the right to farm amendment to the Missouri Constitution approved by voters in 2014, which protects farming practices but leaves them subject to the authority local governments are granted under Article 6, and therefore to ordinances already on the books.
Voters at the time they passed this are presumed to know what all the existing laws are in Missouri.
Existing laws that allowed county commissions and health boards to pass regulations that enhance public health and prevent the spread of disease. The state counters that the right to farm amendment protects farmers and farming practices, not counties and their farming restrictions.
This is an individual right that the opposing side is attempting to elevate to apply to counties and to restrict the General Assembly.
Farmer Jeff Jones says Missouri has 500 CAFOs operating within its borders. Neighboring Iowa did away with county control 10 years ago and now has more than 10,000. No indication of when Judge Green might rule. Both sides have recommendations for the judgment to be filed, so it likely will be several more weeks.